And then, hi everybody. We're just getting ready.
Hello, everyone. We getting ready. We getting ready
I'm
to
so
do the
excited.
Breezy Moms podcast. Mm.
Oh, we've been gone for so long. So long. I've missed you.
Breezy as in zebra. Y breezy Moms. Oh my God. See,
Wow.
I need to go back to
Wow.
school. I fucked it all up. I thought I was going to be on a roll there, and I'm like, oh shit, I
You
got
missed
this.
the whole.
MOMSPODCAST.
I don't want to do it. I just someone's someone's happy with you. Someone's sending love signs to you though.
Oh, well,
Okay.
thank you, whoever it is. I
Whoever it is,
can't.
I can't see. um Okay, but I've shared it where I've had to share it, and I turned off my phones. Did you turn off your phone and your things? I feel like Farmer Candace today.
Yes. Well, it's Jocelyn. Thank you, Jocelyn.
Hi, Joss. Oh, we didn't start yet. Wait a minute. Hold on. We were just okay. It's
Which
been
is
a couple weeks, and we were just getting ready. And I have to make sure I'm ready, ready, ready. Here we go.
she
Here we
ready?
go.
She
Here we
got
go.
this.
She ready. She ready. Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. In three, two, one.
You're listening to the Breezy Moms podcast on Digital Stream Radio.
All right, so it's back to school. California's on fire, and the president's lying, but nobody seems to care. Stick around. Hey everyone, you're listening to the Breezy Moms podcast, a weekly show that chronicles the adventures of motherhood. I'm Candace. Now let's start the show. Hey!
Hey.
How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, Miss Candace. How are you?
I am so good. I have missed you so much. I'm
You
so
have
happy
no
you're
idea.
back.
I have waited 3 weeks to say it is Thursday and it's time for the Breezy Moms podcast, where you can access, of course, the Breezy Moms podcast on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, on Podbean, on all of the good graces of places that you can access your favorite podcasting. It's there. And you can also go to the breezymomspodcast.com and
Boom.
access it there, or on digitalstreamradio.com.
Yay. So shout out to everybody who's on. Thank you so much for waiting on our little mini break that we took. I took a little bit of an end of summer mental break. Get your shit together, get your life all snatched up. And so I'm really happy to be back. So thanks to everyone who has come back and didn't forget about us. And
We're
I'm so happy
here.
to be here. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so glad to see you, Tom.
Likewise.
I'm feeling pretty good. Do you want to just jump right in? There's a lot to talk about, and I just want to
Sure.
get to it.
I'm like, let's go balls deep.
Elbows deep, knees deep.
Elbows deep, balls
Let's,
deep.
let's shout out
Yeah.
Jocelyn, who is here. I've seen a lot of her lately. I'm going to talk about my bathroom renovation later in the show, and she is an incredible designer, and I can't wait till you guys see it. It's going to be up on
Those
the website
beautiful
soon.
babies right now are giving me life.
Right. Her
I'm
little one.
just,
Oh my God, that's not even half of them. Her kids are awesome. Her boys are awesome. That's 2/5 of the situation that's going on over there in that
oh,
household.
wow. That's a lot of kids.
All right, so let's just jump right in. You have
All
something
right,
to
girl.
ask me?
Huh? Miss
Don't you
Candace,
ask me something?
see, 3 weeks off and I
I know,
completely
you're
forget.
out of it.
I
Out of
have a
it.
question for you.
I'm listening.
How are your amazing boys?
The boys are in school.
Oh my God. That's
Okay.
that's great. Obviously, for moms, you get a break. How are
Yes.
you feeling about that?
So, I mean, listen, I've decided that usually I judge people. Okay, so I try not to judge people, but sometimes I do.
I'm judging.
And for a little while, it was like, oh my God, it's a pandemic. You need to stay in your house. Everybody stay in your house. And then we all stayed in our house, and we're all in various levels of crazy, right? Various
going
levels
batshit.
of I might walk out the door and never come back. Various levels of I might crawl underneath my bed and lock the
Right.
door from the inside. Various levels of I can't eat anymore. If these kids eat anymore, there's no more food money. There's no more food in the
Hmm.
city. Like, these kids are eating me out of house and home. Like, it's just a lot. And so what I've realized for myself and what I've heard from a lot of people is, like, we just have to get to this place where I'm gonna leave you and trust you to make the best decision for you, so long as it doesn't affect me. That's my caveat. So if it makes sense for you to send your kids to school, send your kids to school. Do it as safely as you can, as best as you can. If it makes sense for you to keep your kids home, also do that as safely and as, like, having your whole mind together as you can. If it makes sense for you to get a pod, a learning pod, people, you host it, someone else host it. We're actually a part of a 8 to 10 kid learning pod that's being hosted out of a local church by one of the paras from our school, and I'm obsessed with it. I'm so happy with it. She's so good at making sure everybody's got their mask on, and she does the, like, thermal test as soon as you walk in. I mean, my kids got 2.5 weeks with her this summer, um and they just know how to follow the rules, right? Even I forget to put on my mask. These kids have on their mask before we even get into the car. They just know what's expected of them if they want to be outside, and I think that secretly they are also trying to participate as best as they can so that they get to go outside.
Right. Eh,
So I say all of that to say, whatever decision you and your family makes around school and childcare and the next couple months, like, more power to you. Don't
right.
feel bad. Don't lose any sleep over at night about it. Just do the best that you can.
And bathe them, wash their hands, do all that good stuff. When they get into the house, strip them down, give them some not street clothes, like you said.
Right.
And here, go put this on. Mom's gonna throw all this in the washer, right? And just you can mitigate, and do the best that you can, like like you said,
Mhm.
every situation is unique, but just
Mhm.
be mindful that
Yeah.
this is still out there, and we're still in the middle of a very, very weird 4, 5, 6, almost 6 months now.
Yeah.
And
It feels to me like a whole year, right? Like,
right,
some of the things I was looking at clips from February. You know what I mean? Like, we're in September. That the whole year is, on
yeah,
one hand, I like to think there's still a little time left in the year to live your best life.
12
But
more weeks till
also,
Christmas.
I know, but also 12 more weeks till Christmas, and the whole year feels like it's gone already. So
Right.
this 2020 has been a mind fuck,
And
to
I
say
would
the
like
least.
to ask all of the listeners on this show, and of course our show, and if by the grace of God the bars are open, because Lord knows I need to drink around people. Um, if we're out and about on the 31st of December into the 1st of January, instead of yelling Happy New Year, can we yell Jumanji and just send this fucker right back into the hellhole it came from?
End the game.
Because let's
End
end
the
the
game.
game.
Jumanji, that's great. I love that.
Like, seriously, that's what I'm gonna do. Like, happy Jumanji Day, like on January 1st, because hopefully, I know that I'm like really being very optimistic about it, but hopefully this shit is gone by then.
Yeah, I mean, probably not in the dead of winter, right? Like, so,
I mean,
I
it's not
mean,
like we're going out anyway, but still, it's like
no,
do
people
you know?
are out. So, I mean, we can keep talking about this and the boys. It's all connected. I think that I have, and we all have, maybe a false sense. Like, when I hear on the news that there's still so many people being affected and things looking pretty terrible, especially around school campuses and, like, college campuses, and in certain states that are red with the pandemic. I i'm surprised because of where I live, because
Right.
Connecticut is like in a reasonable position, right?
Not
And because,
anymore.
okay, so because we were in a reasonable position, and because it feels like in my everyday life, right? Like, it's just not, it feels like, remember I told you when we had the hurricane, no
Right.
trees came down on my street, no debris in my yard, like nothing. And then I turned the corner and, like, I don't know what was happening over, like, we had so many detours. It just feels like that to me. Like in my little world, nothing is happening. And sometimes it causes me to lose, like to let down my guard.
Right.
And so I know that I shouldn't be doing that. I'm trying to be better. And I appreciate my friends who I see who silent judge me when my mask is under my nose because it reminds me to put it back up. Right. Like I think that there's a level of mutual shame, like friendly shame, that is okay, kind of the way kids shame you into putting on your seatbelt, or in this case putting on your mask. I think it's healthy to keep
Or
reminding
covering your
that.
hair with a hat
Or covering your hair for what?
because of what your baby said to you. We need to talk about that
Oh my
too.
god, my
Mm,
kid is a riot.
I
Okay,
know.
called me
So,
a whole clown. He called me a whole clown because a girl needed a haircut. Okay, I need a haircut. I've been asking this man of mine to give me a
mm,
haircut because we don't want to go to the barbershop. And every day it's like, so both boys got haircuts, and then all of a sudden everybody was too tired, and so
mm,
I got left with no haircut, and then my kid just like dug in and hurt my feelings. Whatever.
mm.
I'm bigger than him.
Well, that's
Oh
true.
my God,
But
which he reminded me. We went. Okay, we went to the we went to the museum, the Boston Science Museum. This Boston Science Museum is what it's called. So a couple weeks ago, we went for a week to Massachusetts, and we stayed in a hotel. It's like our favorite place. And the fantastic thing was we got there on a Saturday, and there might have been a few people. And when I say few people, they're like 10 cars in the whole lot is a Holiday Inn. And then everybody left, but we were there for the whole week. And it was like us and like another old couple or something. Like nobody was in the hotel. It was absolutely incredible. And we had a room that was like an internal room, and so in the middle of the hotel is like a courtyard and a
right.
pool, that kind of thing. And so basically, as of Monday, we use the hotel courtyard as our living room. We just opened the sliding doors. The kids went out there with soccer balls. I mean, like it just took over the
Hey,
whole fucking hotel, and it was incredible. And
well,
then,
I did they go in the pool and stuff? Is it an
oh my
indoor
god,
or outdoor?
every day. So it's inside. The pool is inside, which is great. Which is why it's our favorite place because we can go there in the winter and get pool time, and it's fantastic. So they were in the pool every day for at least 2 hours in the morning, sometimes three. Like, and still they were not tired. We were like, dude, relax.
They don't get tired. They just
They
get
don't get
hungry.
tired. They just get hungry and they start again.
Yeah.
So it was fantastic, and the hotel staff was really great. Like it was the same people there all week, and the kids were playing with a like a one of those supermarket air balls in the hallway, and they were just so accommodating and like welcoming. Also fantastic because people were in the hotel. So right, the hotel is open and they get to come to work. So it worked out
Right.
for everybody, right? It worked out for everybody, and they had really great things in place, times for when you could go to the pool, although it was unnecessary because there was nobody in the hotel. And then we wanted to go to the Boston Museum of Science, and they have a whole plan set up for how to like social distance, and you have to set up certain times. Like you have to buy tickets ahead of time for a certain time of entry. And so we went in the middle of the week on like a Wednesday when really nobody was around. And so again, we're talking the Museum of Science. I mean, the Boston Museum of Science is a humongous place. Maybe there were 100 people in the whole building. Like it was incredible. You walk everywhere, you look at all kinds of things, you're not around anybody. It was fantastic. So again, as
That's
good
a whole adventure.
yeah, as best as you can be out in the world. Now, in the Museum of Science, I felt pretty safe, right? And we were hand sanitizing every so often and spraying and all kinds of stuff. When we were driving home, we had to drive through South Boston. I don't know why that's where the GPS took us. And so we're like Mass Ave, Northeastern, like um, Berkeley School of Music, like really in the middle of Boston. And when I tell you it looks like a regular day in a regular year in a regular summer, I was just looking around going, is there a pandemic here? Like there was so much traffic. There were so many people crossing the street in front of us. I was overwhelmed by how many people were outside in the streets, just like la
Listen, everybody's just trying to get it in before this winter, old
I
man winter
know.
comes.
I know.
It's like I literally been living on my patio outside my new gorgeous patio.
It is gorgeous.
And just living out there, cooking out there, sitting out there, talking on
Hmm.
the phone out there. I've been working out there. I've really been enjoying the evenings because, now it's getting into the 60s, 70s, and
Mm.
it's really nice and cool. It's just an
Hmm.
I love this time of year. It's my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once September comes, I am a happy gay man. I'm a happy fat
I
boy because I
would be
don't
happy
sweat.
if I didn't have seasonal allergies.
Right.
So of course, this also means that hay fever is setting in again. The second half
Mhm.
of hay fever, which stresses me out because I think all the symptoms seem very similar to corona symptoms, except the fever. So
Right.
so
Right.
sometimes you're out and you start sneezing, and especially
I
I
lost my voice two
you
days ago.
did really.
I was shitting my pants. I was like, oh my God, I got corona.
Oh no.
Oh my God, I got the Rona. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. Yeah, like paranoia starts setting in and stuff. And it's just
Yeah.
weird to think now that no matter what happens, knowing that we're about to go into flu season,
Right.
about to go into hay fever season, and all of these other things that come along with old man winter
Hmm.
and hurting bones and cracking backs and oh my God, I got the Rona. That's going to be like everybody's response,
I know.
right?
I know.
And because we're hyper vigilant, although we're very hyper laxative or laxive lately, we're still hyper vigilant. We're also hypersensitive to all the things that are going on around us. The
Hmm.
news doesn't make it any easier with the
Mm-mm.
constant reporting of the amount of people that have gotten coronavirus, the amount of people that have died, all the craziness coming out of every like level of like management in government. It's insane.
Mhm,
And so we are almost 6 months into this, right? When you think about it, we in Connecticut started shutting down around March 15th. That's when the
mhm,
official order came into shutdown. We're about to go into September 15th.
mhm.
It is what's today,
Already. I don't
right?
know.
I'm trying to
I
find it
barely know.
here.
It's the 10th.
It's the 10th.
Mhm,
And so in 5 days we will have already been in all this mess for 5 months.
mhm,
No, actually 6 months. It's
mhm,
pretty crazy. And so, a lot of people need to realize that if you're exhausted, if you are beyond the point of mental sanity, it is okay to feel that way. There's nothing wrong with you. You
mhm.
were just exhausted and you're entitled to it because we have been through hell and back in the last 6 months.
As a nation, the
Hmm.
fatigue, the stress, the sensitivity, all of it, so much is going on, and it's not just us, it's obviously all over the world,
Right,
but, this might feel like the first time. I don't know if it's the first time, maybe first time in our lifetime, right?
right,
Where we are in a position, this feels like something we watch on TV that's happening somewhere else.
right.
And it's
And
here. We are the worst ones. We are the kids that aren't listening. We are the problem right now. And I think it's definitely a difficult place for us to be in, because usually this is some stuff you'd be watching. There'd be a commercial about it in the middle of the night,
right,
about some stuff that's happening somewhere in the
right.
middle of somewhere.
And we're not even wanted in certain countries anymore,
Right.
which is
I
odd.
actually just spoke to a friend who just came home from Austria. She spent the whole time, like, once things went to shit, like before the before places didn't want us anymore. Her and her whole
Mhm.
family, they have dual citizenship in Austria, and so they've been in Austria since probably April. And
Not a
they
bad
just
place to be.
I
Good
know, and they
Bavarian
just
food and
got
an
back.
awesome beer.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Sign me up.
Right? So she did. I should check in with her. It would actually be good to have her. It's actually Joni who was on the show a couple months ago. She talked a lot about what it took to get back here. And I've talked to a couple other people who have traveled, and like what it takes to get in wherever you're going, all the different tests you have to take on the way in, and
Hmm.
then all the different steps you have to go through on the way out, like on the way back home. So there's a lot, and I'm always surprised when people tell me, like, I thought it was a big deal to drive 2 hours to Massachusetts. When people are like, "Oh, should we go to Puerto Rico?" I was like, are we actually going places, or is outside's not open for real? For real,
Oh,
like.
you can go, but you have to take a test 72 hours before you're due to fly out. The test has to
Mhm.
be negative. You have to present that result when you arrive at the airport over there.
Mhm.
And
In
once
some
you get
places, they're
there,
making you take another test when you get there.
that's right. And not only that, like if you're going into a place or coming from a state, even if you tested negative, when you arrive at your destination, you must quarantine for 2 weeks.
Wow.
So if you're looking to go to a nice sunny hot place, all you're going to see is four walls and a roof for 2 weeks because you're not allowed to go anywhere.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so people do go out anyway and risk getting fined and blah whatnot. And just now, actually, I believe the governor just signed an executive order of Puerto Rico to reopen beaches, to reopen gyms,
Wow.
not reopen bars, and reopen most restaurants, etc., but only at 35% capacity.
Mhm.
And so bars and places like that will remain closed, and there's still a curfew from 10 p.m. till 5 a.m. in the morning.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Oh my
I
god.
literally just read it 5 minutes before we started the show.
Mm.
Because I try to stay up into what's going on back home.
Right.
Obviously, it's my motherland, and
Mhm.
I love the island. I just don't like the heat, which is why I'm here.
I know, I know.
Anyway.
What is do we don't have a curfew here, right?
No, we don't. We
Mm,
don't
really?
have. They never
I mean,
got
I
to
don't
that
go
point.
outside at night, but
But you don't understand Puerto Ricans.
no, I mean here. I mean here.
No,
Local.
like in the U.S., like no, we don't have a curfew, but you just don't understand Puerto Rican. There's a reason why they got a curfew.
Oh,
Because
right.
them mofos don't follow rules. They don't like
None,
to. They don't like to be told what to do. They want to get together and have
none.
parrandas,
I
like
mean,
in their
that's
freaking.
general Americans. We don't want to be told what to do.
Listen, it's even amplified more when you're on the island because you've got that whole free spirit. I'm gonna grab my guitar, invite a couple of friends, have some chicken and beer, and we're gonna sing until 5 o'clock in the morning. And you can't do that anymore, and
Mm.
that is driving people bananas.
Bananas. Oh my god. Um
So, so what do you got on the roster for today, Miss Sting?
So we talked about the boys, and I did want to make a plug for. We have a local program here that is a nature. It's like a outdoor nature school, and I probably shouldn't say where my kid is at school because it's weird. But anyway, I am super excited that we got into this program because it's a full day of outside learning. It's like an outdoor classroom type thing for the whole school year. So I think
Oh wow.
so it's good for me, even though my kid is in a pod outside of the house. Like it would have been especially good if he was inside. But I think that other families who are enrolled, especially if they are distance learning at home, it is a really great opportunity to have a full day, like as safe as possible. Again, because they're literally outside all day. So
Right.
free flowing air everywhere outside in the woods. And as a last minute, I put some extra clothes in his bag. I didn't think it was necessary, but I was like, maybe I should. And when I got there, they were like, "Oh my god, he had so much fun today. He fell in the pond." I was like, first of all, but he was trying to catch some frogs.
He had so much fun that he fell in the
He fell
pond.
in the pond. Now the pond, it's like a wetlands. Pond is a very generous term.
Right.
So it's not like I was worried that he was going to drown, but just I was just super excited that he was so happy to be there and so free. Like if I were there, he would not have fallen in the pond because we probably wouldn't have been that close to the pond. You know what I
Right.
mean? And so I'm really glad, and I think that's why most parents like this program is because they're out in the woods, and these people who run this programs are like woodsy, kind of like touch all the things and dig in the dirt and like mud kitchen, like the thing I want to be, but I'm kind of not all the way. And he was so happy when I picked him up, and I was like, okay, this was the best idea. I'm so glad that I did this.
Now
So
you're saying this is all year round.
it's
Are they
all
doing this?
year. It's all year. It's a school year program. So you let your and thankfully they have a, agreement with, because they're local. And so you just tell your school that your kid is in this program, and then they get excused from school that day. So as long as they go to the program, then they're not marked absent from school.
Oh,
And so it
okay.
becomes like a full, so he gets excused from today's like school requirements because he's in school doing something else, you know?
Right. But my question is,
It's all
what you,
day, every day, rain. So today was like like lots of rain, and he was there. I dropped him off. It was pouring rain.
right?
They have shelter, they have like outdoor cabins, and they have, some like gazebo kind of things, but it's outside. There's no inside.
Gotcha. So even if it was like winter and it's cold outside,
Yep.
that's also part of the experience.
Part of the experience. It's part of the so today, okay? Let me tell you about today
Today,
and how yesterday I was like, I'm gonna go to the store and get these. I call them adventure shoes. Other people would say like hiking boots,
right?
like Keens, or I have LL Bean hiking boots, or just like some kind of rugged hiking boot type situation. But I also had not gone grocery shopping since probably 4 days before vacation. So we were running on fumes here, like a few peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and like whatever was in the back of the freezer. So yesterday was the first time I had a chance to like really go grocery shopping. And after Costco and Trader Joe's and I think one other place, I just couldn't handle going into Walmart. And so I was like, it's okay. He can do the first day in regular sneakers. And then next week, I mean, over the weekend, I'll get him the adventure shoes and it'll be fine.
Right.
So I went
So
to sleep. And then, having not packed any of his stuff for the first day. And so, of course, at 4 o'clock in the morning, I woke up in a panic, like, oh my God, I got to get all this stuff and make sure I have like all the things and whatever. And so everything was fine. And then at 6:15 this morning, the sky opened up like full blown fucking torrential rain. And I was like, all he has are like open weave summery type sneakers. I cannot send him into the rain, into the woods like this. So I was at Walmart at 7:15 this morning
I
looking
cannot with you.
for rain boots like a crazy person.
Did you
But
find them?
I did.
Well, that's
Them.
good.
I got them and I had already ordered, like they give you a whole list of gear that you have to get. Like rain pants are a good idea. Obviously, snow pants for when the time comes, rain boots, rugged shoes, fleece and all these things that you think about for the cold weather. But for now, it's more about wet, like and I think it's really challenging when it's wet, but it's not cold and it's hot. Cause like if you have on that, like windbreakers and it's warm outside,
It's
I don't
sticky and
yeah,
horrible
it's
and
weird, it's
gooky.
weird. So anyway, I had some of the gear, but I still had to go out this morning and buy friggin' shoes at 7 o'clock this morning. So my whole point was I bought 5 pairs of shoes today because these kids grew out of all of their shoes this summer. So there was only one pair of shoes that each of them are wearing that we just bought 2 weeks ago because everything else they have just like toes coming out of the front of it. And, and so I was
Can you
like,
be my mommy?
oh
Because
my God,
like I
no.
want 5 pair of
No.
shoes.
Well, I mean, there are 2 of them. So I got the 3 of them for Lincoln and 2 of them for Emery. But for Lincoln, it's because of this thing. You need rain boots, you
Hmm.
need hiking boots, and then in a little while he's gonna need the actual winter boots,
Right.
like so that his toes don't freeze off. Not to mention wool socks and under layers of this. And so anyway, I'm complaining, but I'm also really glad that he's there.
Well,
So
that's good. Well, at least and they're outdoors and they're getting to experience nature and
yeah.
also doing things that are
Yes.
different.
And all of the gear is at Costco, so I love that. And then all the other stuff is on Amazon, so it's great too. And you can buy like things like snow pants and stuff. I'm not really worried about because you can always find those for super cheap at Goodwill
Right.
or those other secondhand places. So
Lately,
anyway,
Costco has been giving me anxiety. Like I went to Costco not too long ago to get paper towels, toilet paper, and things like that I buy in bulk, like detergent to wash clothes and all that stuff. Ooh, girl, I was like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here.
oh, I
Like,
mean, there are a lot of people in there. You got to
oh,
go at
there
the right
were.
time. You got to
Oh,
go at
they
the right
were.
time.
And it's like trying to get in and out with and dodging people at the same time. Like I'm literally like turning around. I'm like six
You're
feet.
so close. You are so close.
Like back it up. Like roll your like rewind yourself back a
Yeah.
couple of steps and just like wait there. Like, you see the line, right? I see the line. You see the line?
Look at the
You
feet. There's like stickers. There's an X. Stand on
like
your own
for
X.
real. The
Uh,
only thing I don't follow is those damn arrows in aisles at
I
stores.
know. I know. That's
Like
hard. That's
I'm
hard.
not going all the way around when what I need is right there. So you
Right,
know what
right.
I do? I leave my shopping cart in the middle
Me too. Me too.
and I just walk in and go grab it and then come back.
So I've been really
Sorry, not sorry.
happy in Costco, but I put myself on timeout now. I can't go back until October because I got overwhelmed and like super excited by all the fuzzy sweaters that they have.
I
Um,
saw.
and so I have like now I have this like long fuzzy hooded nightgown situation. I had it on the other day. It is too hot for that thing, but I was like, but I want to be cozy. I was like sweating in my fuzzy cozy thing. So I'm really super excited about my
Yeah,
warm
winter
weather.
is not here yet, Missy.
Whatever,
Don't
it's
hurry it
coming,
up.
but it's coming.
It's
All
coming.
right,
Don't hurry it up.
let's move on. We wanted to talk about the census. When is the census due?
All right. To be honest with you, I don't know when it's due. I'm assuming by the end of this year. But here's the thing: we just talked about school. We just talked about programs. We just talked about all of this amazing things that children in our inner cities have an opportunity to do and get access to. But that can only happen when there's funding for programs like this that make it available. And to determine how cities are eligible for funding for not only those programs, but any other programs, we use and rely on the census data that we collect every 10 years. The last census occurred in 2010. It is now 2020, which means that it's time for another census. And it is very important for people to understand that having an accurate count of how many people live in your area, in your community, helps determine how much of that funding your communities are going to receive for schools, for public schools, for programs, for anything that's happening, even urban development. So it is very important that you fill it out,
Mhm,
do your part and fill out the census, because when they know how many people, and I know that there's this whole thing about, big brother's watching, and that's just a way for them to just keep us in check. But no, really, a lot of it depends. Redistricting happens based on census. So how your district lines are drawn for voting and for representation in Congress is determined by the census. So
mhm,
much relies on it. And so take literally, you can go online. It takes 5 minutes to fill it out. And once you do, you're done. All they need to know is what your name is, what your age is, what your address, how many people live in your house. Very
mhm.
simple. Fill it out.
Yes, and the key markers or the key points for reasons why people might not want to fill out the
Hmm.
census have to do with status and citizenship, and whether it's religion or
Right.
any of those things that you think might make you some kind of target or might make you weary of signing this form. Like none of those things are being collected on this
Right.
information. They're not going to use this to come after you. So as difficult as it might feel to put yourself out there to fill
Right.
out this form, it's not going to be used to attack your status in any kind of way. Um, so definitely do fill it out, not try to fill out,
Yeah.
just
And
fill
one
it
of
out.
the programs, one of the
Do we
most
know what
important
those
programs
what's that?
is school lunches,
Mm.
right?
Hmm.
The amount of funding that schools get to provide lunches for children comes out of the data that's collected by the census. The highways, the amount of people that flow in and out of your area determines how much money you are allocated from the federal government for roads and for firefighters and for police, etc. And
Hmm.
yes, we're talking about defunding police, but those funds can also go towards other valuable services like mental health and things like that. So it is important to do what you need to do your part. So that you can be counted and things are you're aware of what's going on in your area and what funding you're getting.
And so to complete the census, you're going to go to 2020census.gov.
That's right.
Super simple. And you can get there. I typed in the Google search bar was census. So even if you don't hear that or you missed it or whatever, 2020census.gov, just Google census and it comes right up. All right. So
S-
we've done our PSA.
That's right.
Um, the next super important thing that's going on right now, that's important and challenging and pretty scary, is California's on fire. And
That's
I,
right.
I say that and I don't mean it lightly. It sounds light, but it's not light. It's a pretty scary scary thing, especially given that I'm hearing from friends who live pretty far away from the fire
Hmm.
who are waking up with ash on their cars, or who the sky,
Dark skies.
dark skies, red skies. My friend said it was hell skies. Like it's just
So for
it's
you Game
really
of Thrones fans, it looks like Drogon came over and burnt King's Landing down. That kind of
yes,
sky.
yes, that's exactly.
It is serious.
Yeah,
Um,
it's really
I would.
scary. And so I'm, I hate that thoughts and prayers thing. I'm thinking about people in California. I hope
Hmm.
that you guys are all okay. I hope that you evacuate when you're supposed to evacuate.
Right.
I hope that you have a plan. Remember my emergency preparedness thing in the basement? I just looked at it the other day. Start thinking about, even though if it feels like you're pretty far away from the fire.
Hmm.
I listened to some people the other day talking about California fire preparedness or emergency preparedness, and you need both a go bag, something that you will be able to leave with, but you also need your stay, your stay box or something she called it, which was basically the bin I told you all about that's in the basement. So you do want to have your 3 days of water, food, and supplies to be able to stay in the house if you are supposed to stay put. But you also want to have all of your documents and money and clothing and things ready in a easy to grab go bag, so that if you do need to evacuate, which I hope that you won't have to, that you can. And I guess,
Right.
and the big point that they also added was to make sure that you have your people, like your list of people who you will check in with, right? You should have like your phone tree, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
Your place where you guys are going to meet, who you're going to look out for to take with you if you need to, beyond your nuclear
Immediate circle. Yeah.
immediate circle. But there are like all those different things that we don't always think through. You don't want to get 50 miles away and then wonder where your sister is, or your auntie so and so who lives by
Or
herself.
even like an elderly neighbor that may not
Right,
have anyone that would
right,
assist her in removing herself from that dangerous
exactly,
situation.
exactly. So
It's
I'm
pretty crazy.
definitely thinking about everybody in California, and I'm hoping that this gets under like handled, and
Right.
under control. And I was feeling today, I mean, there was so much rain that dropped here, and I was like, why are we getting this rain right now? We don't need it
I wish there was
the
a way
way
we can
we do.
just push it
I
sideways, right?
know,
Just
I know.
like go there. But we can't. And it's interesting that you say this, but today we were having, I'm working from home at the moment, as is your husband, and most people that are working for a company are working from home. And I was on a conference call, a video conference call, and one of our conference call people was in Portland, the other one was in California. You should see the clouds of smoke that are over cities in Portland, Oregon, which is north of California. And so when he showed us, he goes like, "Look, this is north, pointing towards Oregon, Vancouver, blah blah blah. Let me show you what south looks like." And he turned the camera, and I swear to you, it was pitch reddish, darkish, like
Mhm,
dusty copper colored sky. Nothing could pierce through that. The
mhm,
sunlight couldn't pierce through it. And they're literally in an advisory warning that they may need to evacuate, not because that the fires are close by, the air that they're breathing
yeah.
may become toxic. And so they have to leave, not only if anything for that.
Mhm.
So it's a very serious situation,
Yeah.
and when you think about COVID and having to wear a mask, think about having to wear a mask so that you're able to actually breathe air that's not going to make you sick.
Not breathing smoke. I know. It's really terrible. It's really tricky, and
Right.
I really hope that it gets underway. And it doesn't help. It really doesn't help that the conversation about what may have started this fire
Hmm.
is like it's an avoidable thing, right? Apparently there was a
So,
gender reveal party
hmm,
that people might know. I mean, I think probably most people know. Do you know what a gender reveal party is?
uh-huh.
Okay. So most people know now. It's definitely become popular in at least the last 10 years or longer.
They're
And
getting crazier and
and
crazier.
there it's like one up every time. It's like
Right.
for the gram, like that kind of thing. To the point where people have died I mean, not a lot of people, but like one person is too many to have died because of a gender reveal.
Right.
And it just makes me think, like as much as we're trying to do, I mean, this is for the gram, kind of like.
Mhm.
I mean, it's mostly for me. You all just get to come along, and I appreciate you for it. But like this, it's for consumption, right?
Right.
But we don't have to like there has to be a ceiling. You know what I mean? Like we don't have to one up, oh, you shot a t-shirt cannon, so now I'm going to shoot a real cannon. Like we just don't have to go there.
Right. Knock
So
someone's head off 50 feet away
right,
from you and not even
exactly,
realize it,
exactly. So
you
it's
know?
making me think a lot about the kinds of things that you're willing to do for the gram. And that's a general term, but just in general, like we could probably reel it in a little bit, just
Right.
in all senses of the word. We could reel it in a little bit, especially during 2020 when like any shit is liable to happen right now. Like literally
And
anything is liable to happen.
not to mention the person who actually created that concept of the gender reveal,
Hmm.
is is, how would I say,
Distancing herself from it.
she is regretting the fact that she
Yeah.
did that. And the
Yeah.
reason being is because in a world where we live in today, for example, 2020, and where gender really doesn't drive,
Hmm.
or should not be driving who we are as individuals and as humans, um, she really, really thought through the impact that it has on people in other communities, like, for
Yeah.
example, the LGBT community, in where gender is a very touchy subject, and to again come up with a concept that really like further perpetuates the whole stereotype of male female,
Hmm.
and women have these kind of roles and men should have dominate the world,
Pink and
and
bows or
blue, and
guns or lollipops or whatever the hell the
exactly. And
like
so,
mustaches or unicorns or
but
whatever.
aside from that, you're right. It's getting out of hand. I mean, I saw a gender reveal and where they had this firework type of thing that blew out, pink or blue smoke, and then you would know whether you were having a boy or girl.
I mean,
But
what happened to muffins? What happened to cupcakes? What happened
right,
to cakes? What happened to just cutting a cake with some like blue
oh
frosting inside?
my
What
god,
happened
what?
to like waiting for the envelope and letting somebody? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. I was something fell and I didn't know what it was. I'm like, what happened? The house is falling on me.
Right, right.
Because it's 2020. You just
Sky
never
is
know.
falling. You never know. You never know. But yeah, like what you used to be able to just put it in an envelope and let somebody else open the envelope. Like it's just really not that big of a
Exactly.
deal.
Not only that, it's just like, just think about it. So they have this fire thing coming out, and they're not even standing away from it. Like everybody's huddled around the
Right,
fire
right.
thing that can burn you
Mhm.
and hurt you. And they're like,
La, la,
oh,
la.
until someone gets something in their eye, and boom, there you go. Now you're blind,
And
bitch.
it's somebody else's fault because
That's what you
it's not
get.
their fault. I know, I know.
Yeah. All sense of
Mhm.
like common sense goes right out the door with some of these stunts that people are pulling with
Yeah.
these. They get really dangerous. So you're right. Tone
Well,
it down,
speaking of
people.
idiots,
Speaking of
our
idiots,
president is lying.
their president, hashtag not mine.
You're right. You're right. The president is lying as usual.
The
So
liar in chief.
I try to get just enough information because the way my
Mm,
anxiety is set up, I can't
right.
take too much, right?
Right.
But in the last couple days, this thing about the tapes, it's always some tapes. It's always
Right. All
some
is that all it takes? Tapes.
tapes. And I mean,
Nixon.
and it's no laughing matter. Okay. It's
Right.
absolutely disgusting that you would have this information and then purposely keep it from everybody because you can keep yourself safe. Even though, by the way, I don't know how he's not gotten corona.
But who
These
was
are
he
kinds of
joking? Who was he joking really? Because the only thing that did was it delayed the response.
right, which killed a bunch of people.
Killed over 255,000
Right.
people in this country. It delayed the response. We already knew that this was airborne. News was coming around from all over the world of what was going on with coronavirus before it even hit here. And
Mhm.
by the time we got that first case in the state of Washington, and then the next one's in California, and then that cruise ship with 25 people that were infected that could not leave the boat, and God knows what else, it was too late. And he knew
Right.
that. They
Yeah.
had that information, and the CDC and all the other emergency responding units could have responded and could
Hmm.
have done better than what we've got.
Right. Right.
We got a botched response system, and as a result, over 255,000 people in this country have died from coronavirus, and over 5 million people at this point have been infected by COVID 19.
Hmm.
It's unacceptable.
Yeah. I agree.
I
I
will
agree.
cut him.
Right.
Let me not say that too
I
loud.
mean, you got to get in line. A lot of people trying to cut him, but yeah, I mean, I don't think it was botched. I think it's purposeful.
Of course.
Purposeful, right? Everything he does is
Right.
purposeful, even if it's stupid, right?
Well,
So,
you got to think that in those early stages of when things were developing and we're getting information from outside of, not the administration, but outside of, from outside news sources from across the pond. The whole point of keeping that secret was so that their stock their stocks and the market wouldn't respond to what was coming out of the White House.
mhm,
And so all he was caring about was his pocket and
right,
the
of course.
pockets of those
As
rich people that are, lining and making, millions and millions of dollars, while the rest of America was just ready to brace themselves for, not having income, not being
Mhm,
able to pay the rent, not being able to feed their families, having to decide whether or not they're going to buy medication or feed themselves,
right.
not have employment, not know if they're going to be able to collect, not knowing that if they're, people who are self-employed, if they were going to be able to have any recourse in being able to get some sort of income or relief, and
Mhm,
then to have a miserable $1,200 sent out from Congress to the American people and think that that is enough to get you through 6 months worth of not being able to pay your rent and people trying to evict you and trying to still pay your college tuition and all your other loans that you have and everything else that comes due. It was crazy. And it's still crazy.
still crazy. It's still crazy. I don't.
I just got angry there for a moment.
I was letting you have it. Sometimes you just gotta let it. You just gotta let it off. Just let it out, or else I feel tension in my shoulders. I did a relaxation session with my therapist today
Mm,
to try and help.
that's
Um,
important.
yeah, it's just like I called it some nervous energy that I had today, and I mean, I know where it was coming from, anxiety about first day of a new program, or like the kids being out of the house, that kind of thing. But it manifests in a lot of different ways, and
Right.
thankfully, because I've been in therapy for several months now, I'm able to see when things are happening, but definitely I've had some serious tension, and I definitely have had some nervous energy, and the way that displays itself today, I tripped over so many things. I knocked over so many things. I tried to warm up my coffee in the microwave, and it just like I hit the roof of the microwave. I was like, what the hell is going on? And I literally had to say
It's
out
not
loud,
working.
like, relax, just whatever is, it is what it is. We gonna figure it out. Just like relax. And in that moment, I just had to take a deep breath. And so I don't know if anybody else has ever been through that kind of like jitteriness. And sometimes you know where it's coming from because
Right.
you were startled or whatever. And other times it just comes out of nowhere. And it's par for the course, especially this year. So if you are feeling any kind of nervous energy, if you're feeling any kind of additional tension, above and beyond what you usually hold, definitely try to like find something on YouTube, some kind of like relaxation, breathing, something, talk to a friend, call a friend. A Zoom is best, but call on the phone if you can. But it definitely means that you are like wrapped up in something, whether you know it or not. And you need something to help you. And so whether that's a professional or whoever your trusted somebody is, um, I would encourage you to reach out to it, because that shit starts to
It
hurt.
does. And it's not going to get any easier. And things, by the way, we've got what? It's now September 10th, October, November. In 6 weeks, less than 6 weeks, we have an election,
Mm.
right?
Mhm.
And things are only going to get worse between now and then with the
Yeah.
rhetoric that's coming out of the White House, with the craziness. So I wanted to leave you with two things before we sign off and before
Mhm.
Candace goes on to her next topic. Is
Mhm.
one is that in the state of Connecticut, if you're here, or in your state, you can get an absentee ballot. In
Mm-hmm.
the state of Connecticut, every voter, every registered voter can get, an absentee ballot mailed to your house because of COVID-19. All you have to do is go to ct.gov, go under the voting, find the application, fill it out and send it in. And when you get your ballot back, given that there are concerns as to whether or not our postal service is going to be able to handle the amount of ballots that are coming back from people who are submitting their ballots via mail, you don't have to mail them.
Mm.
Know that if you do, you have to put 2 stamps on this. 1 stamp is not enough. So make
Mm.
sure you put 2 stamps on your ballot return if you're mailing it in. And if you don't want to, you can drop it off at your ballot box located at your town hall, city hall. They have a ballot box where you can go and deposit your ballot
Okay.
in your envelope. Okay, so that is an option if you don't want to go to a school
Mm-hmm.
to cast your vote on election day. You just have to make sure that if that is something that you're thinking of doing, that you do it now.
Mm-hmm.
Now is the time to plan and get what you need, fill out the application, mail it in, and make sure that you get your ballot back as soon as possible.
Absolutely. It's a great point. It's a really great point.
Secondly,
I'm probably going to vote in person, but go
and
ahead.
that's okay. I'm not saying, listen, don't.
Mm-hmm.
With all the social distancing that they're doing, etc., I had no choice for the primary but to go and vote in person.
Yeah.
And I felt safe doing so. And so I don't think that that's going to be an issue. But if you want to, you have that option. You
Yeah.
just have to make sure that you
Do it now.
follow through the process and get it done sooner than later.
Okay. And number two.
Number two, today is International Suicide Awareness Day.
Ooh, I didn't know.
And so I wanted to make sure that we mentioned that. And also, nationally, we have a hotline that you can call if you need to talk to someone, anyone. It doesn't matter who it is, who you are. If you need to talk to someone, you can call 1-800-273-8255. It is
Mm.
the suicide prevention hotline, or lifeline, as they call it. And it is available 24 hours a day nationwide. So if you know someone who's going through depression, or you know someone that's going through a tough time, reach out to them, ask them if you can help in any way. Because sometimes you're just saying, hey, are you okay? Could be the difference between life and death for someone.
Mm.
So make sure that you be aware of your surroundings and the people that are around you, and tell them that you
Absolutely.
love them.
Tell them that you love them and just call and say hi. I think
Absolutely.
so many times, even if you, I know it's like sometimes we call people and we're like, "Hey, do you need anything?" Or like
Right.
you see somebody and you want to help, but you don't know exactly what to do. And sometimes asking somebody what to do, what you can do for them, is actually not helpful, because the way lots of anxiety works is that then that just gives me something else to think about.
Right.
Um, and so, I mean, like whatever kind of nice thing you would like, right?
You know,
Like, just
just
pick up a ice cream cone and send it to them, or call them, or give just something. I think that this time, especially this time, it's so easy to get stuck in our own world, in our own spaces,
right.
and I probably feel a little over connected,
Hmm.
but that's just because of my lifestyle. There are lots of
Right.
other people like you are at home by yourself, right? I'm not worried about
Right.
you, but you are at home by
Listen,
yourself.
had we not done a show this today, I was gonna go come show up at your door. I'd be like, "What's going on, Miss Thing?"
You're looking for me.
Mm,
But some
seriously,
people are quarantining by themselves and have
right.
been for 6
Hmm.
months. So,
I'm a loner anyway. Like, I
yeah,
love being by myself, and I have my 2 puppies, and that for me that's just glorious.
yeah.
And so for me, it's been a bit of both. It's been heaven, but it's also been very concerning because I also like to go out and meet people
Mhm.
outside of my home, right?
Right.
Because I always thought of my home as my sanctuary.
Mhm.
And so I limit the amount of people that can come in my home. Not everybody
Makes
gets
sense.
invited to my house.
Okay.
And so because this is my sanctuary, this is my personal and my special place. And so for everyone else, we can go elsewhere,
Right, right.
right?
But
So
now
that
Elsewhere
when
is closed.
exactly. So when elsewhere gets difficult and complicated, I can come back to my sanctuary
Safe
and
space.
not have to deal with complicated and crazy.
I
And
know.
I've always been that way. So for me, it's been easier than most. But you're right. A lot of people, there are people that are quarantining at home by themselves,
or
or there are
quarantining
people,
at home by themselves with their kids. Okay.
right?
And that is
Or,
not to be underestimated.
oh, I can only imagine. And there's also people that are quarantining at home because they have to,
Mhm.
with people who don't support them, which
Mm.
is even worse. There's
Which
nothing worse than being in a space
sucks.
when you have to quarantine with someone who you know does not support you as a person, as a human, or lifestyle.
Hmm.
It's difficult, and so that in itself presents a very unique challenge as well.
So if you're watching this and you were thinking about you, call us. We're always on the phone. I
That's
can
right.
always answer the phone. Um, text someone. Text. Just reach out. Just
Yeah,
make
reach out to us on social media. Send us a DM. We'll be
hmm
more than happy to talk and share a little bit of our time with you, and hopefully have you share a little of your time with us.
with us. With us. So that was a lot.
Mm.
Um, I want to make sure that we wrap up on time because we getting better as we come back. I don't want to drag on,
New
but
Kansas.
new Candace, right? Mid year, 3/4 of the way done. I like to reinvent myself whenever I feel fit. And so I wanted to wrap up because we have had an exciting thing happen in my house. My friend Jocelyn, who I love and who
Mm.
supports the show wholehearted, can't even talk.
Wholeheartedly.
Exactly, wholeheartedly, and is always on, and I love it. So she's an interior designer and redesigned our bathroom while we were away.
Girl.
And when I tell you, I felt like I was on HGTV. Like holy shit!
Can she come into mine upstairs? Like, seriously?
Listen. She's right here in Connecticut. You can always find her. But she's like a fucking genius. And I think my favorite part of this is because of the logistics of what we were doing. Like the reason this happened is because I needed my tub reglazed, and it takes
Right.
2 or 3 days for the epoxy to seal and cure and whatever. And so we were planning, we have to be away because we have two small kids and it's summertime. You can't go 3 4 days without bathing, and we only have
Right.
one tub and shower. So reglazing the tub turned into, I mean, we might as well, right?
Redo everything.
We happen to know a designer and an awesome contractor. So the fantastic thing is we did a little bit of talking ahead of time. She made a mood board. I don't know if you know that lingo, but like she made a mood board for me, and I was like, bet, do it, right? And when we came back, she had like free range. I was like, listen, we only have a few coins, so do what you can with the coins that I have because I don't have any more coins. And when we came back, the space was just like the thing I keep thinking is like it feels like the space that I wanted, thought I was moving towards, but like would never ever have the eye to make. You know what I
Right.
mean? And so literally yesterday I had to change my clothes twice in the day because the
Because you have an amazing bathroom now. So who are you
no. Right.
kidding?
No. Because the first shirt was too tight. Hashtag Corona pounds, right?
Mm.
Um, Corona snack. But both times I changed my clothes, I still matched the bathroom. And so I felt like like she made a space that was me, but with her eye. And
Right.
I couldn't even because sometimes you worry. I think people worry that a designer is going to come in and do their own thing, like oh they like polka dots, and so every shit's going to be polka dot, or they
Right.
like floral or whatever, and I don't like floral. So like you want to have a professional, but you want your professional to make something that's you, that feels like a fancy version of you.
Right.
And I swear to God, that's what she did for us. Even James was like, "Are you sure we need to do this?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude, I'm sure. It's 7 years in. We need a nice bathroom."
Well,
And
I tell
it's
you, that
beautiful.
space looked absolutely stunning.
No,
Your vanity
it's
is
beautiful.
life.
Listen, I can't even. It doesn't. First of all, you have to step over. I call it the like peasantry to like get like regular ass, basic ass, like IKEA stuff, and the like one thing I found that was really cool but doesn't really fit in with anything else. Like you got to go through all of this stuff, but then it's like it's like Magnolia Farms. That's not even fair because it's not Magnolia, but it feels like a magazine. When I walk up, and I'm still surprised.
Farms.
It's been 5 days, and every morning I wake up, I'm like, oh, my bathroom. I'm so happy. So
So that was a complete gut and
it wasn't
redo.
a complete. Sorry, it was like a partial. Like we didn't get a new tub. We got a new vanity and a new toilet and new floors, but everything else, walls and things were, and tub and everything was just like reglazed, um, because we couldn't do the whole thing. But
Right.
those three things: vanity, toilet, and floors. And when I tell you, I was worried about the vinyl. So Home Depot has this vinyl floor. It's called like a life proof vinyl floor.
Mm-hmm. They're really good, by the
I
way.
was worried about it because I have these old 1933 chiclet, I call them chiclet tiles. They're like mosaic chiclet tiles. Some of them are one size, some of them are other sizes.
Right.
And they were this is what was happening. The cement was degrading, and so you'd
Mm-hmm.
be walking and then the tile would just stick to your foot. And then
Yep. There goes a tile.
what? And so there are tiles sticking to your feet or like tiles concaving and just, I mean, it was just a hot mess. And our contractor apparently filled all the gaps and made the floor flat before he put on the vinyl flooring. And Jocelyn is saying that she was worried too. He smoothed out the floor, and so the vinyl flooring feels like it's on top of hardwood. Like I took my shoes off with my little toes and I was wiggling in all kinds of places. So I was like, I know there was a hole right here. And
Mm.
I mean, I can't.
I know this is where that damn tile stuck to the
I
bottom of my
know.
foot. I know it is.
I have it in my pocket. It's like it
Do
is
you
so
really?
amazing. No, it's
I
it's
was
actually it's actually in the door of my car. It's in like a little pocket in my car door because this was like 6 months ago. We were like, oh, we'll just go to Home Depot and like
right.
we'll show Jim in aisle 59. We'll be like, oh, Jim, do you have this tile? Right? So that we can replace these like 16 tiles that are missing.
That
I
is
say that
too
to
much.
say there's so many times where you think, oh, I could save some money by like doing it myself. And then you
Right.
find yourself in a perpetual state of 7 years of trying to like fix a space bit by bit by bit. And it's never, ever fixed. So if you can budget in some bona fide expert design and contract work so that you can get a space done and done, wrapped up in a bow, done. And so you can get it out of your head. I feel like the biggest part of this for me is like I can stop thinking about the fucking bathroom. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because it's done. There's
Well, I'll
not
tell you.
another thing I have to add. There's not another thing I have to do. I can just live my life. And it feels like when you are up in the middle of the night thinking about something, and they say you should have a little notepad so you just write it down and
Right.
then you'll be able to sleep. That's how I feel, like the relief of knowing that the bathroom is done.
Well, it was it
Shout out to August Oliver Interiors and the incomparable Jocelyn.
gorgeous. So Jocelyn, when I redo my bathroom, well,
Yeah.
I sort of kind of, I'm gonna have to reach out to you because that was some gorgeous work. It was
Yes.
absolutely incredible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I wanted to end on that positive note,
Yas, queen.
because I'm feeling myself. And whenever like the last few days, whenever I have like a mild attitude, I don't have big attitudes, but like a mild attitude, James goes, oh, you feeling some kind of way? Why don't you go in your bathroom? Why don't you just go hang out upstairs a little bit, look around, look at the green walls? My walls are green. They're like on olive green. Just go and look at something. You'll feel a lot better. And I go, okay, you're right. We have a bench upstairs now. We've never had like a seating. There's like no reason for there to be a seating area up there, but somehow she made a seating area. So I just go sit on my bench.
Well, hello.
I
Whenever
look
you're
at
like,
the walls.
carrying baskets of laundry and putting things away, and you need a moment to just sit
Take a
down
break.
and
My mom
collect
needs a
yourself.
break.
Now you don't have to do it on a bed
Right.
with your street clothes or sit
So
on the
true.
stairs and block people's way
Exactly.
or walk all the way downstairs and find a couch or a chair. Now you can just sit on your bench.
In my
Take
space with
five
my real,
minutes.
she put real plants on the walls, okay? On the walls. I was
That's
like,
amazing.
what?
Don't forget to water them.
I know. They're probably due for some water. But
Ah,
I need like I need a
water bottle.
I don't need it. No, like a ketchup squeezy bottle.
Right.
Because of the way it is, like or else I'll just be pouring water on the floor. I'm sure of it.
Well, no, you can
But
just spray it with water and moisten the top level of the
that's
soil
a
with
good
just a
point.
little spray bottle. You'll
That's a
be
good
good.
point. All right.
Every other day in the wintertime, especially you have forced air, right?
I have radiators.
So okay, so which is good. So if you have forced air, you got to make sure that you're constantly monitoring your plants. If you have indoor house plants, because the forced air tends to sort of kind of dry out the air and get the moisture out
Just
of the
like
air.
your nose and your lips, man. All right.
Exactly.
That I'm not looking forward to for winter. But let's wrap up.
Mm,
Wrap up. Take care of your plants. Give your plants water. Drink your water. Oh, Jocelyn just said she's coming by to she's coming by to water the plants. I love Jocelyn.
ah,
See that is customer service for you, is what that is.
mm,
She said she was gonna come and do spot checks of my my counter. I should
mm.
probably put away the toothpaste. Anyway, water your plants, drink your water,
That's right.
vote, census, mind your business, have a good life. So until next time, we'll talk to you, okay? What is that? It's been too long. I forget what I say. Is that what I say? I say until next time.
Until next time.
Okay.
Don't stress. Just breathe.
Isn't that in the recording? I don't
It
think.
is. It
Yeah.
is. You
Okay.
just simply
I
just say
just say
bye.
bye.